Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every episode, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you're spending with us truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit it.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we're back. Okay, I say it a lot, and Tanner's sick of me saying it, but this is one of my favorite type of guests. I don't know this person from a hole in the wall. Not only do I not know this person, he didn't even reach out to me. One of his buddies said, hey, you got to get this guy on the show. So I'm meeting a complete stranger who obviously has some cred with his buddies because they think he's cool enough to tell him to come on the show. So, as everybody knows, I do not introduce my guests because they can do a better job at that than myself. And today I couldn't tell you who he is even if I wanted to. So, on that note, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
I'm JC from the 881 Crew, which is a collective of drifter in town. And that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, explain to me what drifting means because like in my head it could mean two things. So, let me hear if I'm right on one of the two.
Yes. We race in a series that's called Spec D in Edmonton, and it's just basically going sideways together, and it's kind of like figure skating, but with tires and smoke. So
Okay, very cool. So it's exactly what I thought it was.
yeah,
then.
exactly. It's figure skating.
Yeah. The only like I've seen lots of videos online. Like you have
Yeah.
the movie, which you're probably sick of hearing about, but you have Tokyo Drift. So there's
Oh,
that.
it's a classic for sure.
And then there's a music video with an artist called MIA. I don't know.
Yes.
And she is like, I think somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know where.
I
in the
don't
Middle East.
remember exactly which part, but she's a great artist as well.
Oh my Lord, that video is
It's
unreal. What you can do in cars.
It's crazy for us. It's fun because I like the idea of being able to make the car do what I want to do. Right.
Right,
So it's all
right.
about style and performance, and it's beautiful. It's such a nice sport.
So you just said something which I find interesting in regards to you say it's a sport. So that entails that there's competitions.
Yes, exactly.
So fill me in. I know nothing about this world.
Basically up here we have growing scene. Like I said, there's a Spec D that we compete in. We go a little bit across Canada, Western Canada. Like we just came back from Mission, Edmonton, and stuff like this.
Okay.
So it's just it's 32 top qualifier, and then they battle each other until there's one left, and that's your winner there.
And so when you're battling each other, like what's ranking points? How do you win?
There is tile. There is the line as we need to follow ideal line that they call it.
Okay.
So the more you're able to follow that line, the better your score is going to be.
Okay.
And there's speed as well that comes into play. So it's
Okay.
a bunch of little factors that keeps adding points together, and
Okay.
the one that scores the most point wins the battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this? Because you're a young guy.
Yes, I've grown into motorsports for all my life. I started working at a drag strip at the age of 8.
Okay.
And it was back home in a small town called Sherbrooke.
Okay.
And I stopped there and I came up here when I was 19 and took a break for a couple of years. And then I met my friend Ophir that is also one of my partner in 881 and just started hanging out because I had this Chevrolet S10 that was modified, and he had a nice Nissan S13, and we just started hanging out, and we decided to get together and start a team, and
Okay.
there we are right now.
And so how many people are on your team?
On the actual team, there's 5 of us. Yes.
Okay.
There's me, Mark, Brendan, Ophir, and Bremen.
And so when you're on a team, I'm assuming, like, I can't assume anything. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So when you're on a team, does everybody have their own individual car, or are you guys
Yes.
working on one unit?
Yeah, we all have our own cars.
Okay.
We have 3 drivers that do the professional Spec D, and me and Brendan are just for like small shows and stuff like this. But Brendan is going into the competition next year, so it's gonna be
Okay.
exciting.
So now in regards to like, because not every car can do this. Most tires, I have to assume, aren't made, like they're not made to drift. They're made to stick to the road.
Yeah, that's right.
So fill me in about like the equipment in regards to cars and tires that you need to perform this sport.
Looks a little bit weird because whenever you see a drift car, you see like the big crooked wheels, like we call that the camber, that which helps the surface patch of the tires when you're on the side of the road. But you see
Okay.
the big angle on your steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of little things like this that helps the car being more stable whenever you're sideways and being more predictable. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of money into it, but it's rewarding at
Yeah,
the end
no
of it.
doubt. Well, everybody, you're gonna spend your money in one way, shape, or form.
That's it, right? And it's easy to go into vices. My mom always told me I'd rather you doing this than being out there doing vices. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
So, is there any particular car that is kind of known for drifting or a brand?
There's the classic, like I have an old Nissan 240SX, which is known to be a easy car to get into.
Okay.
And right now the big chassis that's starting to come up is the BMW E46, which is a bit more rigid. It's like the Nissan 240SX, but a bit more new, rigid, and
Okay.
so it's a bit easier to drift. But those are the two most normal car that you'll see drifting right now.
Okay. And
Yeah.
from a price point, like, because like every sport is expensive to get into.
Yes.
Obviously, this is a sport with vehicles,
Yeah.
and when you start throwing like the name BMW around, obviously
It
this
comes-
gets
yeah.
pricey. So, if somebody wanted to get involved in it, like, what would be like an entry level price point to you, roughly, obviously?
It depends on the bracket that you want to achieve. Like
Yeah.
you can get into drifting for $1,000. If
Okay.
you just weld your differential, you find a cheap car and you just try to throw it sideways. But
Okay.
if you want to go into more complex, like you want a car that's more performing, you want to
Yeah.
try to win competition, now it gets higher,
Yeah,
higher,
okay,
and
sky's
higher.
the limit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. We're more a bit of budget kind of point because we're not millionaires. We're
Yeah,
like we're just on like everyday workers.
that's
so
right. That's right.
we tried to build Ophir's car under $20,000 and it worked great. We struck our goal, so that was great. But some people that compete in the same series can go up to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000.
Right.
So
Now, is this something like I've been watching the series, the F1 series on Netflix,
yeah,
and certain car companies just have more money, so they're just going to win,
it's
regardless of the driver. Well, the driver has something to do with it, but
Yeah.
the chances are you're gonna win if you're in this car. Is that similar to your sport?
It's kind of because at the end of the day, it's a driver. It's a
Okay.
very heavy driver sport. So you can have it's like you can give the nicest knife to somebody who's trying to cook for the first time.
Yes.
He's not going to perform as well as an experienced chef with
That's right.
the dull tools, right?
Right.
So it really depends on the driver itself, but for sure the car helps, but
Yeah.
it's not what's going to make you win. for
Okay,
sure.
interesting. So that's good. So like the guy with the nicest, most expensive car doesn't necessarily have that guaranteed top.
Yes,
spot.
if you can handle your car, or if you can't throw it around and be in control, you're not
Yeah.
going to win, right?
You ever tip a car?
So
Have you ever tipped a car?
I didn't, but I kind of jumped the berm last year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we see walls all the time though. That
Okay.
happens all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in our budget for repairs over the winter.
Yeah.
The car gets smashed the rear end on, so you got to cut it and
Yeah.
and do it the full structure in tubes.
That's right.
So it's some little stuff that happens, or tapping each other happens all the time as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's part of it. It's part of the fun, right?
And so I'm gonna ask questions. Hopefully I don't get you in trouble for any of these. Where do you practice this?
Okay, so in town it's kind of complicated because we have nothing around that can support us,
Right.
which is kind of sad, but in a way it's a growing town still, right? So, there is Edmonton that has facilities. Here we have a little backlot secret that the police are aware, and they just leave us for 1 hour, do our things, and
Yeah.
we do it as safe as possible.
Right.
But we're trying to help with the local track, which is called Area 63.
Okay.
I believe in their future they might dream of pavement. So
Yeah.
if they can even have a little pad or a little something, it's
Yeah.
all like we're all gonna bring the drift there and just
Very cool.
yeah, because unfortunately we don't have anywhere in town that is very legal to do
Yeah.
it yet.
Right. Right.
But I have a dream in the future to see a big facility.
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
Good for you. Dreams are good. So this is new to Fort McMurray, though. There's never, has there been teams prior to?
Yes, but no. It was a bit before the social media age.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't.
Okay.
It's right now. It's easy to get known. You have a viral video. It goes a little bit everywhere. Everybody start talking about it.
That's right.
Back in the days, it was really a more garage buddies that knew each other, right? So.
Right. It's cool, man. That's really neat. I know as a may or may not have done this myself, but potentially when I was younger, like I just used to love the wintertime.
Yes.
Because like I grew up driving stick shift with an e-brake, and so like you make it around that turn, and I remember like pulling out of parking lots, and you just accelerate as fast as you can, whip that wheel, pull that e-brake, come
and just
out,
right till you could
boom.
keep it right.
And may or may not have done that. It was many years ago. I'm an old man now. I'm not a teenager. So, but that kind of stuff, it's fun, especially if you can like figure out how to do it in a controlled environment.
Yes, and it's something that everybody can appreciate, right? It's not. It helps bring awareness to defensive driving.
That's
it
right.
makes it like it's just you don't lose by bringing a facility like this up here. Hopefully, one of these days we'll be able to do it in a safe place. But yeah,
very cool, man. All right, well, we're at the part of the show called the Mac City Minute. This is Tanner's segment. He's going to ask you a few questions. I don't know what he's going to ask you, so best of luck. Tanner, hit him with the Mac City Minute.
All righty, question number 1. How does living in Fort McMurray remind you of growing up in Quebec?
It's kind of the fact that I love about Fort McMurray, which brings me back from back home, is it's nice infrastructure, but not too big of a town. I'm from a small town. I don't like big town, and Fort McMurray keeps you like that in between of a small town and the accessibilities of a bigger city.
Question number 2. If you could turn one car into a drift car, what would that be?
BMW E92 with an 8-cylinder. That would be my dream car.
Okay.
Question number 3. What is your favorite road in Fort McMurray to go for a cruise on?
The drive to how's it called again? ZZ Bar up in the Anzac.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
The from 881 all the way to the Z Bar is the nicest road with the Gregoire Lake and everything. It's beautiful.
Sure is.
Question number 4. What is the most memorable moment you've had drifting?
There's so many. I think it was at Stratotech. There's a big park in Fort Saskatchewan, and it's not necessarily just drifting. It's everything that's around hanging out with my friends. Just that whole weekend was crazy. I think it was my best memories, just hanging out with my friends for a whole weekend. It was awesome.
And your final question. What is your go-to way to celebrate a day at the track?
That's a good one as well. After the track, usually I'm pretty beat and I just want to sleep. But I think a good steak at a good restaurant, usually with a good beer, is the go-to for us to just enjoy the end of the day of a drift.
And those have been your 5 questions.
Well, thank you.
So you guys have this team. You're competing.
Yes.
Are there cash prizes that could be won doing
Yes,
this?
but it's nothing that is out of the world. It's just like a thank you for participating. It covers a little bit, but we're not doing it for the money, right? We do it for because we enjoy it. It's just a nice getaway with the friends, right? So.
Do you guys have any, like, if there's somebody out watching the show right now that wants to, like, support maybe through sponsorship or, like, getting involved with parts or stuff, that's something you guys invite, or are you guys like, no, we got this covered?
We're super open. We're very thankful that Napa Fort McMurray is a big supporter for us. So
nice.
That has been, like, Brent, if you watch this, a big thank you. They've been behind our back for a year now, I believe. So very happy with that, but... Yeah, we're always open with to work with companies. We have a few different ways to promote them, but at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of friends that enjoy to do what we do, right?
That's awesome, man. Yeah. No, that is super cool, and you can tell that you're obviously like passionate about it.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's been occupying my life for the past 2 years now. So
that's awesome. So are there other teams in town?
There's not an actual team, but there's another very talented drifter who's called Jesse Foote. Okay. He has a super nice setup and he competes with us, so it's fun to to get together at the track and then have a few beers after the event. And there's a few like grassroots that we call that don't compete, but
Right.
just come and hang out. And
Yeah.
yeah, just good. Yeah, it's just good fun.
So with most sports and something like this, there's like a culture that goes behind it, and that's
Yes.
like a lot of what you're talking about in regards to like there's a camaraderie with people. Outside
right.
of the drifting, is there what else transpires when you go to these competitions?
As you mean, what do you mean by that question? Sorry.
Like my man Tan over here, he likes to go to raves, for example.
Yes.
Right, and so yes, obviously you go to the rave. There's a dancing, but there's a culture in regards to how people dress and how they interact.
Oh, okay.
I've gone to a few American football games in the States, and you have like tailgating parties
Yes.
before the event. When you go to one of your competitions, outside of the racing, what transpires around that event?
It's just hanging out with our friends. Most of our friends are down south in Calgary and in
Okay.
Edmonton. So
Yeah.
it's just making friends down there. We have our friend Jason Dele, who's unfortunately moving to Texas this year.
Yeah.
But he always brings his camper there, and after the drift event, we have a few beers. We play
Yeah.
drinking games and just have fun, right?
Okay.
It's the main goal of going to a drift event for us is just to have fun, hang out with our friends, and yeah, just relax for a little bit.
Okay. I know we're running out of time here, but I got to ask this one question. When it comes to movies, there's tons of movies out there for racing, and like there's the one that's like has drifting in it in particular. But if there's one go-to movie that kind of showcases what you guys do, or a movie maybe doesn't showcase what you do but gets you excited about what you do, what would that be?
We have a big influence, which is Tokyo Drift. I know it's very cliche,
Yeah.
but you just hear that little tan 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 tan, it just rings a bell for
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
and it just puts us in different zone if you want to say this. But
Yeah.
it's just like that car culture in like Japan and Tokyo is really where it was born. So
Right.
we try to transpire it a little bit on the cars, but
Yeah.
with keeping in mind that we're makes us kind of posers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go watch that movie tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's you just say it and you just see some scenes in your head. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I need to watch that movie. Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you very much for coming.
I know where that
This has
was
been a
very
pleasure.
fun.
Time has flown. I say this to all my guests, and I truly do mean it. So please take me up on the offer. Please come back again,
Anytime,
again and again and
anytime.
again. And I'd love to meet like your teammates.
Yes.
Anything that we can do to help like bring more attention to what you guys are doing in your sport, I think it's really cool. Yeah. So please take me up on the offer. Come back again.
Of course.
But before everybody leaves, they get their shameless shout out or plug. So the microphone's yours. Whatever you want to do, whoever you want to shout out, it's all you.
Probably our biggest plug would be I'm gonna announce it here because it's not very official yet, but we're trying to bring freestyle motocross at the track on September 18 and 19 during their third batch double.
Okay.
So they'll have their own races, and as usual, we bring our cars on the tracks and just drift a few laps just to keep the show going. And
Right.
Art Castle Clothing came out and offered to come and do a freestyle motocross, do backflip on big jumps. So
Okay.
that would be probably the biggest thing to plug. So September 18 and 19 at Area 63. Besides that, if you're interested in things we do, 881 Crew on every social media. And besides that, a big thank you for reaching out. That was very awesome.
Yeah, man. No worries. Thank you. Well, I hope I'm going to follow you guys and hope everybody else does too. Because I think what you guys do is pretty cool. Pretty cool, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Almost slipped out.
Well, everybody at home in Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. From the bottom of my heart, it really does mean the world to me. So thank you very much. On that note, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.